is possible. I can be a stay-at-home mom and still pursue the things that I love. Can you focus on me? So the topic I wanted to talk about today is 3 limiting beliefs that I decided to let go about motherhood and like what that looks like. The first limiting belief that I'm letting go is that I'm not doing good enough as a mom. Obviously, being a mom is equally a sacrifice as it is, at least in my experience, fulfilling. However, like for example, one sacrifice other than carrying my son was also breastfeeding him. And I felt like there was like a pressure on me to breastfeed him longer um, than, after a year or whatever. So I actually breastfed him for about 2.5 years. That took a toll on me, obviously, especially because my little baby, he is not a bottle like baby. So it was difficult. Like I would literally get no sleep at all because I'm just like up feeding him like every 2 to 3 hours. I used to get like guilt off of not being able to like perform my best as a mom because I'm up super late, basically breastfeeding. Um, and that's just one example of where I felt like, am I like able to do it all? And obviously, like to add a little bit more context, like I have a village. I have a village. It's just that my village is smaller than I guess other villages would be. So sometimes that kind of takes a toll on me because I don't want to keep asking the same people over and over for help for help. Another thing that was super overwhelming would be like the unsolicited opinions, experiences from like just different people, older people, people in my family. And it's just like, it's difficult because how I envision parenting is so different from how like what I grew up with. Not saying what I grew up was necessarily bad. It's just, I just want to do things different. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So it'll be overwhelming because I feel like I'm living up to other people's expectations still, even as a mom. So like I had to let go of that and just be like have a balance and set boundaries. Like, okay, I'm only gonna let this affect me but so much because I'm doing something new. And a lot of times when you talk to people um about just change or just doing something new, they don't like that because, they're obviously comfortable in how they're behaving and how things go. Fiance and I want to homeschool our son. That's something that's never been done in my family. So obviously there's tons of questions, doubts, opinions, everything about that. And that can also be overwhelming because it's like kind of as if my trust is being questioned. And I take that personally. One thing that helped me with my growth in letting go of this limiting belief was looking at what resources I have. And at the time, I didn't have no time for no therapist, even though I was going through postpartum depression. Let me know in the comments if you want a video on that and how I dealt with that. And what my journey's been like with postpartum depression. However, and within my resources that I can afford, it was books. I love books. So 2 books that I champion. I love this author so much. Well, it's an author and his son. They have the same name. Don Miguel Ruiz. Love this. This is The 4 Agreements and this is The Mastery of Self. These books really help me to let go of other people's expectations, projections, and also check myself when I'm having those same patterns. Basically, those books help me to just accept the journey that I'm at and understand that other people are just not where you're at on their journey. Give them grace and, move accordingly to your newfound understanding. I had to do my eyebrows off camera because I have a slick back and eyebrows are very important when you ain't got no hair. like going on your face. Another limiting belief that I had to let go on this new journey was trying to snap back into my old body, because realistically you're not going to snap back because you have undergone a new body transformation when you are pregnant and when you give birth. And for me, I had an emergency cesarean or C-section. Having that little pudge after getting sewn back up and everything, it really took a lot on my like mental peace and this idea of having to snap back. And obviously there is a standard that a lot of moms fall into, which is, delving back into that sensuality and sexuality once you've had your baby. Like, it's hard to feel sexy again. And a lot of things are natural, but we live in a society, unfortunately, that puts pressure on moms when it comes to our body image. For me, the funny thing is, once I stopped caring, that's when I lost the weight. I really didn't do much. Like, I would do like yoga or just um, walk most places in my area, and and I would also pay attention to how much of something I'm having, like per serving. For rice, especially being Caribbean, like I love rice, but I had to cut it down. And literally now I only have a serving of a half a cup, because that's technically what we're supposed to be having, not like a cup or a cup and a half of rice. And just little things like that. Drinking a lot of water and mint tea. I love mint tea, especially like having gut health issues and all those different things. And basically, that's when I lost the weight. It took me 3 years. I gave birth, I was at an ending weight of 200, which is crazy because before I even got pregnant, I was like 120, 125, got pregnant, ending weight was 200, boom. Then about a week after I gave birth, I dropped down to 170, and then it was a struggle getting the weight off from that 170, and that's what took me 3 years to get to where I'm at now, which currently I'm 130. So yeah, it honestly took not caring, just nourishing yourself. Breastfeeding takes a lot of the weight off of you over time as well. And I'm not gonna lie, a little stress also helped. You just have to get to a point where you give yourself grace, because again, like, you have to get used to your new body. Like, it's never going to be exactly how it was before you gave birth. Like, it just comes with it. And the sooner you accept where you're at and love on yourself in all your seasons, that's what's really going to help. um Understanding why you feel that way, not comparing yourself. It's really hard to not do so. That I have to take breaks from social media because of it. But yeah, you just have to focus on your mental health and what's going on internally. Like, that's what reflects on the outside of you. So you can lose the weight all you want, but if you don't work on that mental health and why you feel that way and why you feel like you can't love yourself if you're 30 pounds heavier, like, there's some deep internal work that you have to do. The last limiting belief I'm going to talk about is believing that if I'm a stay-at-home mom, then I can't pursue my other passions. This has been the hardest thing to get over, just because I want to be a good mom. I want to be attentive, I want to homeschool. But at the same time, there's more to me than just, being a mom. In my experience of just trying to find an identity outside of just being a mom and what that looks like, especially because I had a pandemic baby. And right before the pandemic, I was fresh out of undergrad. So that was just a wild experience altogether, of just not being able to really hit like the working industry, even though deep down I know I'm meant to like be an entrepreneur. I'm meant to like do the social media stuff, create content, because that's something I always love. I even went to school for film and editing, so I'm in my realm. The more I think about it and assess where I'm at, the more I realize that everything is just a balance. It is possible. I can be a stay-at-home mom and still pursue the things that I love. Like, it'll be challenging. There'll be times where sacrifices have to happen, but you can't lose yourself in just being a mom, because one day when your kids are 18 or 23 or whatever their age is, and they finally leave, what are you going to do with your life? You have to live still. It's just that you have a new responsibility, which is being a parent. It's been my dream to be on YouTube creating content and just creating like food content and just showing my journey, and hopefully this helps and inspires other women, because that's essentially what I want to bring to the collective. How can we satiate on not only knowledge but also food, and thought that feeds our soul, which is essentially the goal of my channel. Bottom line, you have to give yourself grace. It's like the mother archetype is being nurturing. Girl, that means you got to nurture yourself. That's the only way you can nurture other people, nurture your kids, nurture your man. You have to love on yourself, self-love. And that's the journey I'm on right now. And I would love to show other women that may not have that example. I want to be the example of my trials and tribulations. Okay, what do we think? What do we think? I think it's giving. Okay, thank you guys for watching my video.